This is the International Space Station about 400 kilometers from the ground. This ISS has been circling our Earth for the last 23 years. This space station looks very small, but in reality its size is as big as a football stadium. And it weighs about 925,000 pounds, which is about the same as the weight of 300 cars. But the question arises that how did such a heavy International Space Station reach the International Space Station from the ground in space? ISS is the most expensive thing in the world made by humans. About $150 billion have been spent in making this ISS. What is the purpose of the ISS? How the astronauts living in it live without the force of gravity? How they get food, water, and most importantly oxygen? And how the ISS was taken from the ground into space. By the way, the ISS is almost as big as a football field. Most of which is part of the solar panels. The ISS gets electricity from such a large solar panel, but the part of the ISS where the astronauts live. It is like 6 small bedrooms. You will be surprised to know that if we make a complete round of our Earth, it will take us many days, but the ISS revolves around the Earth about 16 times in a day. The speed of ISS is about 27,500 kilometers per hour, that is, astronauts living in ISS can see the sun setting and rising about 16 times a day. You will be surprised to know that in today's time America and Russia are enemies of each other, but this ISS was built by America, Russia, and many other countries together made this ISS. A total of 15 countries made it, including the US, Russia, Canada, Japan and the participating countries of the European space. The cost of making it was $150 billion. So America could not make it alone, so 15 countries were included in it. But what do astronauts do in ISS? Astronauts really have only one purpose, and that is to do experiments. ISS is a laboratory built by USA, Russia, which is also known as Space Laboratory. In this laboratory, astronauts experiment and observe things brought from the ground. How do they react in space? But ISS is also used for many other things. For example, cyclonic storms and many other disasters coming on the Earth are detected. And how would it be possible for humans to live on Mars apart from Earth? Many similar experiments are being done by ISS. There are a total of 6 astronauts on the ISS for whom to live and work. These capsules exist which are connected to each other, from bathing to eating and drinking, from entertainment to exercise. All these things are present on the ISS for the astronauts. That's not the only thing these astronauts have. These astronauts are unable to feel their body weight due to the absence of gravity. They push themselves to move from one place to another, just as we can on Earth, from one capsule to another. They have many things to eat. But their food is very different from the kind of food we cook on Earth. Actually, their food is packed in packets and sent to ISS from Earth, but whatever we do on Earth, it is not just food in ISS, which is done in a totally different way. Like drinking water, using the toilet, brushing teeth, and exercising. Because astronauts get very lethargic in space, they also have a special type of exercise machine on which it is necessary to exercise for 2 hours daily. Similarly, astronauts take bath in space, but yes, without water, while you and I use water to take bath on Earth. Astronauts do not use water at all for bathing. Astronauts have a special kind of soap which does not require water to apply. There is only a dry towel for shampoo and soap, which cleans the body. Apart from all these astronauts have one more job. In fact, the ISS in which the astronauts live also has to be taken care of. If they have to go out of the space station for some work, then they cannot go out of the space station without a spacesuit. Because space is as cold as -250 degrees Celsius and as hot as 250 degrees Celsius. If the sun is present, it will burn human bodies to ashes, and if the sun is not there, it will freeze them at the same time. That's why this spacesuit was specially made. In which there is oxygen for astronauts and all the equipment to prevent heat and cold. There is a small room in the ISS itself which has a sleeping bag in which they can sleep comfortably. Now it comes to how astronauts eat food. Actually, their food is taken from Earth to ISS. So much food is sent to the Earth at one time that this food can last for 7 months for 6 astronauts. But perhaps you would not know that the food of astronauts is the most expensive food in the world, out of which the cost of 1 kilogram of food is about $10,000. But no restaurant or chef cooks food for the astronauts. Their food is prepared by NASA food scientist. Astronauts' food is prepared in such a way that it does not spoil for 6 to 7 months, and all the proteins and vitamins are available to the astronauts. For this, NASA's food scientists freeze the food after cooking through freeze-drying technique, which removes 97% of the water from these foods, due to which the weight of these mines remains only 3%, but the method of packing these mines is completely different. In these mines, almost all the air is removed from the packet, so that the weight of the food packet can be reduced and less fuel is spent in transporting them to the ISS. It takes about 48 hours for this food to reach the ISS. So let's know how astronauts use water in ISS. Astronauts are able to use only 1% of water compared to humans living on Earth. Yes, because the ISS has a state-of-the-art water recycling system. This device purifies even the worst water and makes it drinkable. You will be surprised to know that the water that astronauts drink in ISS. Maybe you didn't know that astronauts on the ISS also drink sweat water. His body, which is made drinkable by the instruments. So let's know how astronauts take oxygen in ISS. After all, is this also sent from Earth to the ISS as food? We all know that every person uses 840 grams of oxygen in a day. That means 6 astronauts take about 1,000 kilograms of oxygen. This 1,000 kilograms of oxygen is not sent from Earth to ISS, but there is also a system to make oxygen in ISS. Yes, oxygen is made in ISS through electrolysis. Oxygen is made from electricity generated from large solar panels installed in it. So let's know some interesting facts about ISS. How the ISS, as big as a football, was finally launched from Earth into space. The ISS weighs about 420,000 kilograms. It was so large that it could not be carried from Earth into space in one time. So it was carried in small pieces that were attached one by one in space, giving the space station what it looked like when it first launched in 1998. In 2011, the ISS was completely ready. Let's know some main things about ISS. First, ISS generates about 120 kilowatts of energy through its large solar panels. That's so much electricity that about 40 homes use it. Today there are about 50 computers in the islands, whereas in 1998 there were only 3 computers in the ISS. Till now only 230 astronauts went to islands which were from 18 different countries. A spacecraft can reach the ISS from Earth in just 4 hours. Astronauts in ISS can see 16 sunsets and 16 sunrises during 24 hours. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe our channel, share and like.